But what do you think about a person, like, I bring him up all the time because he's so odd, Jon Jones. Like, Jon Jones has the smallest calves of any man I've ever seen who's an elite athlete. And obviously, he's an elite athlete. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. And even now, while he's worked his way up to heavyweight, so he hasn't fought in 2 years because over that time he's been building himself up. And now he's like a legit 255 pounds. He's fucking huge. Tiny calves.
Well,
what's going on there?
What's really interesting is if you look at elite sprinters.
Is that real?
Yeah. So look how short the muscle bellies are on his calves. But if you look at elite sprinters, Olympic sprinters, they'll have big legs, but if you look at, and sometimes they'll have big bulging calves, but their calves are very short. That's actually going to lend itself to sprinting. You don't see Manny Pacquiao calves on sprinters.
Interesting.
Not good ones anyway.
But he's not a sprinter.
No, but he's got a lot of explosive power from what I understand.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm not a knowledgeable about MMA. Pretty much everything I know about MMA I've learned from you and from Lex.
So look at him there. Even at 255 pounds, I mean, he's
got tweezers down there.
These very small calves, it's really unusual for someone who's built the way he is.
But his explosiveness out of those calves is probably met by that short muscle belly.
Well, he's not the fastest guy, and his whole thing is he's the best at controlling distance because he's very tall, especially for light heavyweight, not going to be as tall for heavyweight, but he's fantastic at controlling distance. And if you're a person who wants to maximize you have a certain amount of weight you can be 205 pounds and that's it if you want to be championship weight. At 205 pounds, he's got the perfect physique because he's really long.
Long arms and legs.
Long arms and legs.
Ugh.
So you can't get close to him. And he's a fantastic striker. And he uses those arms and long legs in a great way with his wrestling and his submissions because he has fantastic leverage. He's really like the perfect build for fighting.
How tall do you say he was? Is it 6+?
I think, yeah, Jon is 6'3", 6'4".
Is he back in it? I know he had a steroid pop, but is he back?
Oh, yeah, no, he's back. That was a long time ago. That's the steroid pop is a weird one, man. He kept 6'4".
That's
so
he's skinny.
Yeah.
For 6'4", 205 pounds.
Exactly. He kept I don't know what happened, but the story was that he got some tainted supplements, right? Which may or may not be true. The problem is
I'm sorry, I just laughed when this. Last time we were talking about the Deca burrito, the Olympic.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, sorry. Go on. I couldn't help but chuckle.
But some guys do get tainted supplements. That's a real issue. I know one of the ways I know it's a real issue is we didn't get. Steroid what happened? Oh, we didn't get steroids that showed up in Onnit supplements, but when we were initially starting out, we used this third-party company that would mix our ingredients, and they would mix ingredients for other supplement companies as well. It was a company that packaged stuff for you. And so we did third-party tests on some of our stuff, and we'd find vitamins in there that weren't supposed to be in there. And then we just trace them out. So we realized, they're getting it from the vats. Like these guys aren't cleaning the vats properly that they used for the previous supplement. Now, if you're getting a lot of cheap stuff, particularly if you're getting stuff that's made overseas, that's the same companies that are making steroids. So they're making, wherever it is in China or what have you, they're allowed to do that or whatever. It's not regulated. So there's guys that are buying off-the-counter, real, normal supplements that are supposed to be steroid-free that have steroids in them. Now, there's also unscrupulous companies that will add steroids to their products just to make them more beneficial, just to make them more functional. And that's true, too. So there's a guy named Tim Means. He got busted with tainted supplements. And if you look at Tim, he does not at all look like a guy who takes steroids. I mean, not at all. And he was just taking some normal stuff that he bought from some health food store. And it turned out he popped for a very small trace amount of this stuff. Previous tests is nothing. And then this tiny small amount, which would indicate that, and this was what they said about Jon as well, the problem with what Jon did was like Jon tested negative and then he tested positive, but the positive amount was so small that like it's almost like he's getting off of it. So he would have to be on it for a long period of time. Like, he'd have to be on it for weeks in order to reap any benefit. But meanwhile, it was less than that time ago. He was negative, and now he's got this trace amount in his system. So there's a lot of things that seem to lean towards the idea that he was accidentally dosed, that he took a tainted supplement. However, do you know More Plates, More Dates?
Yeah, Derek. Yeah, I like Derek a lot. I was
Derek's
really pleased to
fantastic.
see him on here.
Love that guy.
Yeah,
I love
he's great.
He's great. And I love his show. And he's super, super knowledgeable. And he calls bullshit. But he calls bullshit on a lot of guys in the UFC. And he goes over their specific blood work. And what he was concerned with was more the testosterone to epitestosterone ratio. He said it was off, way off, and not normal. And also the amount of testosterone that Jon had, the free testosterone in his system, he also felt was so low that it seemed to indicate that he was coming off exogenous hormones, and that, you know, there's maybe some masking going on or whatever. But it was enough to make Jon ban him. He blocked him on social media.
Oh, yeah.
Which Derek goes, that seems to indicate, you know, I hit a sore spot.
Yeah, the blocking move implies a worry at the very least.
Or
yeah,
being
Derek goes
pissed off.
deep.
Yeah,
he goes really
smart.
deep.
He went over Paulo Costa. There's like quite a few guys that Paulo Costa is another guy who's built like a bodybuilder. He's like a freak specimen, and he kind of calls bullshit on him too. He calls bullshit on a lot of these guys.
Yeah.